because of my personality type, I know that if I get too emotional or I don't look at this as a opportunity, because once I start turning problems into opportunities, I have a different perspective towards things. And it just makes more sense to look at it that way, with that mindset. And by God's grace, I just was around the right people to give me that mindset. If I was around the wrong people, they would have like, oh no, what are you gonna do? And they would have bring up more problems than solutions.
Right.
And then allow that to fester in my brain and allow me to get demotivated, have less confidence and anxiety and depression and just that snowball effect downward.
Yeah, the community play.
Yeah. That's the community and support was there. Yes. I had the right support and community.
Yeah. Good idea, now we buying merch.
That's ghetto.
Payment miss.
Ooh, the ghetto.
Say she quit.
Ooh, the ghetto.
Late on your rent.
Rent is ghetto.
New event.
Ooh, the ghetto.
Invoice in.
That ain't ghetto.
Money spent.
Oh, that's ghetto. Hold on, it's kind of ghetto being a CEO.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ghetto CEO Podcast, where we give you the raw and unfiltered truth of how being a CEO is not that glamorous. It's really giving ghetto. I can't wait for you guys to dive into this episode because this new person we got on this episode is going to blow your mind. Listen, we got my friend, CEO MattyJ, coming to the Ghetto CEO Podcast. If you don't know, MattyJ has been a while for a long time documenting the process, documenting the play, and letting us know exactly what we need to do in entrepreneurship to be able to go to the next level. So, welcome.
What it do, baby?
What's going on?
Always up.
Are you excited?
Always blessed. Listen, you know I'm excited.
Listen, this is going to be good. They finna get all the plays, okay? Listen,
let's get it.
Welcome to the Ghetto CEO Podcast, where we talk about all things ghetto about being a CEO. So tell me, when you think about being a CEO and how ghetto is, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Preparation of leadership. A lot of people who try to start their businesses.
Yeah.
They're on that solo Olo pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you get real frustrated realizing that you can't be in the marketing seat and the fulfillment seat at the same time.
Facts.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things that I wish more people understood. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you understood being a high-level CEO yourself.
Listen, I think that a lot of people don't understand that there is, it's two different sides of the business, right? And I feel like one of my biggest struggles in business, because we real transparent on here, right? When I first made my first $1 million, I tell people that actually broke my business.
That's what happens.
Yeah, and people nobody told me. Everybody was like, go make the money, go make the money. But ain't nobody tell me that it was like going to literally break my business. And I'm a marketer, right? So my focus is making money.
The marketer.
Period.
You know what I'm saying?
Big my brain, not the little knowledge.
Don't let me hype her up. You know what I'm saying?
I did not have time to play with Matty today. Listen, so my goal is marketing. Like, that's where my mind is. So like when I made my money, nobody told me like, don't just have, the people in the Philippines on customer service.
The VA play.
Right.
That's funny.
Nah, that's fact. So it's like people have to realize that it's even two different sides of the business before they get there. Like, so how did you even know all of that?
I have to go through it. Okay. So, like I told you earlier, I don't usually use the word ghetto, so I was trying to figure out how do I tie, because ghetto things happen.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
But I realized I use the word disorderly. Like when things are disorder, that's a lot of times when people say, yo, this is ghetto. When things are all over the place. Yeah. Cluttered. Yeah. People don't know what to do. I'm like, yeah, this is real ghetto. Yeah. Right? So I think a lot of business owners don't have enough systems in place. Right? Because they don't have systems in place, they're definitely not going to hire the right people to be able to manage those systems.
Right.
So what they try to do is do the easy way out, like you said, hire VAs, but VAs can get you on as far as you can go.
Yes, and you can manage them. You got to tell them what to do.
Facts. So I had to learn going through the process. I started my growth of entrepreneurship with my clothing brand. Okay. I used to sell candy in high school. But it was more of a solopreneurship play where I didn't need too much. It wasn't too many moving parts. Yeah. Buy my candy from Costco, hit up my school classes, sell my Airheads for 25 cents, and run it back. Yeah. Keep it real simple. However, when I came to my clothing brand, I had to market on my social media. I was getting thousands of orders. But now, the fun part and the creative part of creating the marketing, the branding, promotions, had to halt because now somebody got to fulfill the orders.
Facts.
Manage the products, inventory, customer support, the whole nine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold up. I said I was going to get these shirts out in 3 days. It's been 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
This is ghetto.
Yes, no facts. But listen, I don't even think, first of all, let's go back, right? Because they don't even know how much of an OG MattyJ is,
You know
right?
what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? We got a living legend in the building, okay? So tell them, like, how you even got started, who you are, and why they should even know about your history, because
all right, y'all.
You the blueprint.
So I go by CEO MattyJ, but I didn't always go by CEO MattyJ.
Okay.
I used to, I ain't even go there. I used to go, I had a ghetto name. I had a wretched name. It's so wretched, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. If you know, you know. Look at I transitioned to Twitter. So Twitter, 2009, 10, it started to get its stride when it comes to people being on there actively. Mm-hmm. And as I was on Twitter, I realized that this is my opportunity to express my personality. Mm-hmm. And I was doing that through not just entertainment, but also education. I was giving points of view that was educating people. And through that education, it was also empowering people. Okay. Because of my consistency on my tweets, whether it's relationship advice, whether it's topics of pop culture, I started to build a following. Okay. However, once you build a following, you're going to ask yourself, how do I turn these followers into dollars? Fact. Right? So luckily, by God's grace, somebody reached out to me and said, yo, I have an opportunity for you. I see you have a lot of followers. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of advertisers who are willing to pay you for your tweets. The influencer play. Without delay. Listen, I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. But I saw it as an opportunity. As long as I could continue to do what I was already doing without having to stop, it aligned. Okay. And I realized that just because it's a play doesn't mean it's your play. This one just happened to be my play because all I got to do is continue to tweet. Right. They sent the advertisers, meaning I don't have to go and get the advertisers myself. Right. I don't have to negotiate. I don't have to do the contracts. I don't got to do nothing. All I got to do is post a tweet and get paid. Facts. And that's what I was doing. So I was earning my first 5-figure days tweeting on Twitter in 2009. Game changer. Yeah. In 2009, that's different. Yeah. I was making more money than I can spend because I was around 19. I was exactly 19 at that time. Okay. And I didn't have too much expenses. I wasn't driving. I had an office space. However, I didn't have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. I was living with my dad. Okay. So I didn't have any expenses. However, I moved out of my dad's house, and of course, my expenses rose. Mm-hmm. Luckily, it wasn't an issue because of the high income. Mm-hmm. So I started spending that money on renovating my office. I spent $14,000 on a new bathroom. Oh, wow. The studio. I was going crazy. I was going crazy. And the office was in Beverly Hills, right across the street from the Beverly Center on La Cienega, Beverly. Oh, so wow. I was living that life. You know what I'm saying? You was outside. However, I partnered up with my boy Spectacular, and we're looking for a new condo. So I said, all right, I'm moving to my dad's house. I need a nice spot. And we had all this money, so we had no budget. So we're in downtown LA looking for the best, most luxurious condos with no budget. We're letting the leasing agent know, look, we don't got no budget. What's your best available spot? $6,000, $7,000 a month. It don't matter. Yeah. That was the energy we was giving. Yeah, you was the ideal client. The ideal. So we walking down these hallways, picking them out, filling out the applications. Tell me why. I get a notification 2 days while we're going out hunting. I got a notification that my Instagram pages got deleted. Mind you, this is where all my income is coming from. All my income is coming from. So what you do? Listen, man. First, I had to. Luckily, I didn't get too emotional. Okay. I had to take it in and ask myself, all right, what's the next step? Because I knew how to build Instagram pages. Because what worked for my page, I knew how to duplicate it. We started building multiple Instagram pages with different screen names and different profiles, like parody pages, very similar to how people have meme pages. Yeah. We had that on Twitter. So we had a bunch of meme pages that had a specific target audience and niche.
Gotcha.
So we had a relationship page called Daily Relationship Tips. All these celebrities were following it. Had all these different pages. All of them got deleted. So we had to figure out, dang, we went from we don't have no budget to we don't have no budget.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
No, different. In a blink of an eye.
Yeah. And that's it's real ghetto.
No, that's ghetto for real.
Ghetto.
But you even said like, so I asked you before, and you were just like, I didn't really think, I knew that entrepreneurship was going to have challenges. And I don't think that a lot of people go into entrepreneurship and like, I know this is about to be hard. I know this is about to be crazy, but I'm still going to do it.
Yep.
I didn't start like that. I was like, oh, like you need a person to help you. I need a job. Let's get started.
See?
Oh, now I own a business.
See?
Now I'm here. And then it got ghetto real quick. So how did you even have that mindset with like being able to accept the challenges?
So because of my personality type, I know that if I get too emotional or I don't look at this as a opportunity, because once I start turning problems into opportunities, I have a different perspective towards things. And it just makes more sense to look at it that way.
Yeah.
With that mindset. And by God's grace, I just was around the right people to give me that mindset. If I was around the wrong people, they would have like, oh no, what are you gonna do? And they would have bring up more problems than solutions.
Right.
And then allow that to fester in my brain and allow me to get demotivated, have less confidence and anxiety and depression and just that snowball effect downward.
Yeah, the community play.
Yeah. That's the community and support was there. I had the right support and community. So that was one of the biggest pieces. Having the right people to make sure that you had the right mindset to move forward. And focusing on what God's will is.
Yeah.
I believe every situation I've ever been on, it was God's will. And if I truly have faith in God, I need to trust that everything that God has for me is for my benefit.
Yeah.
I just have to have the faith and endurance to the end to see it out.
Yeah.
And that fundamentally allowed me to have peace anytime a situation happens. My whole business can burn down. I can wake up one day, my bank account says 0. I'm not going to be able to trip because I have that as my anchored foundation.
I love that because I think a lot of times people forget that we all go through everything for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason, and we just got to keep going because you said endurance. Endurance. That means you know it's going to be long and tired.
Facts.
And get up.
Facts. I used to watch boxing. I'm like, the same type of punch or type of hit that will make somebody cry or complain. But these boxers are just eating them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What is the difference between somebody getting hit on the street by somebody you may not know? It's okay.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who's getting paid millions to get hit. As they understand that that's part of the game.
Nah, facts. And I think that once you switch, like you said, switch the mindset to know, ooh, that just freed me. Okay, MattyJ.
Hey.
But once you switch your mindset and you're like, I know this about to happen. You know what I'm saying? Without being like weird about it.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be weird about it. Don't make this weird. I like that. Don't make this weird.
Don't make this weird.
Don't make it weird.
Like, I know this is about to happen. I know something's coming, but it's okay.
Facts.
Because I'm going to handle it. I'm going to keep going because I got to have endurance.
Facts. And once you start reaping the fruits of that play, that mindset, the more it keeps happening, the more you know it's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So I got enough taste of it early on in my life to know that anything happens, I know it's God's will.
Yeah.
I know it's God's will. Somebody breaking my car, I leave something, like I left my phone in Turkey. I'm like, it's God's will in this. You know what it was?
That's a different level of peace.
Listen. Because I'm not the only person that ever lose their phone. So I know people go through this.
No,
right?
facts.
But I left my phone. Think about how much we use our phone. Our phone is like almost everything.
But in Turkey.
Yes, and all that. On my way back to the States, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on my way back to the States. I'm like, dang, I left my phone. You know what? This is God's will. That instantly calmed me down. But then, this is how I knew it would end up being God's will. I've been delaying getting a new iPhone for like 3 years. Right? The newest iPhone, it's been 3 years. I had the oldest one for 3 years. Right? And I had a free upgrade. So it was one of those things that I didn't even have to pay for it.
Right.
So it actually forced me to get that new phone, right?
Yep.
What's crazy is that new phone, it had double the battery, it had double the storage.
Listen.
And I'm shooting content, I always have to delete pictures. And sometimes I couldn't take the picture at the moment because guess what, that notification?
You ain't got no storage.
Yeah, you know, storage. So it mess up the play.
Yeah.
So now they actually forced me to get a new phone, right? And then when I got home, all I had to do was call the place I left at. Did you guys see my phone? Yeah, we have your phone. We'll ship it to you. It was simple. Right?
Wow.
Most people would have made that situation way bigger.
Yes,
They would have missed their flight, all that.
All that trying to go back, figure it out.
Crazy.
And then the real thing is the camera on that joint is
It's next level.
It's next
It's level. It boosts my confidence. I'm on live way more now.
like, oh, I'm outside. Right, but I love the way that you looked at that because honestly, I can say somebody's probably watching this and like, yeah, I would have went crazy.
See?
But you
That's how it
like
be.
immediately snapping out of it. It's like, it's God's will.
Yeah, for sure. I was shuffling that phone. I'm like, where my phone at? Oh, I looked at my wife. She said, don't try to put no energy on me. I said, you're right.
She like, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
You're right. Let me just calm down. We'll figure it out. We checked in, got on our flight, and I already knew that I was going to get it. Somehow, some way, I was going to get it. And that's what ended up happening.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we had Matty in the city. Mm-hmm. City boy Matty.
Yeah, I'm a city boy now. That's crazy.
Outside of LA, blowing the budget, no budget.
blowing the budget, no budget. That's funny.
Then we got Matty that started to own his own marketing agency, right?
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
It's an easy transition. So as I'm building my clothing brand, so after my pages got deleted, luckily by God's grace, a new platform came and sprung up. So I didn't have to start from my Twitter again. Because I was low key discouraged. I'm like, man, I don't want to start from scratch again. I know how to build these pages up.
Yeah.
But time.
Yeah.
Luckily, a new social media platform came called Instagram. I was like, all right, if I'm going to start from scratch, might as well start from a new platform that's already getting a little steam.
Yeah.
And as you know, I didn't know this at the time. New apps, the algorithm, there's no algorithm, it's wide open. They want as many people as possible.
Yes.
And if you're active, they're going to show your content to new users.
Yes.
So I was able to leverage the fact that I was an early adopter on this platform. And remember, this app, it was only for iPhone users at first, right? They didn't even open up for Android. Yep. So I was one of the ones that was on there heavy. We got to use emojis. This is when emojis start getting popular. And this is when Instagram combined with the emojis. So I start to leverage all these things, and I created a new t-shirt brand called the Emoji Tee. Okay. So I created a t-shirt with a bunch of emojis on it.
Okay.
And then I found some of the influencers that were on Instagram heavy. Don Benjamin being one of them. He's a model. Had him post a picture of him wearing the shirt. Sales booming again. I said, okay, I don't got to rely on my likes to pay me for tweets.
Yeah.
We got an income stream coming in. Yeah. So that was one of the things that saved me was being able to leverage the new platform, Instagram. So after we were on Instagram for a while, because I was an early adopter, they start showing me on like the main page as soon as you log in or sign up, recommended users. So I'm getting 200, 400 followers a day. Right. Just by being recommended. You know what I'm saying? I was like, see, it's always God's will in every place.
Always God's will. Right? Yep.
Then me and Spec, we took it up a notch. At this time, Instagram didn't have a limit on how many people you can follow. So me and him would sit on the couch just like this in Vegas. We would start following everybody.
Yo, that's so funny.
Right, that's what we did. And we knew it was going to work because we had good content. So once they came to our page, they're like, oh, I don't know who this is, but look like he's a cool place for us to follow. Right. And that's how we was able to build that momentum. And we understood from Twitter, the more you educate, entertain, and empower, the more of a following you'll be able to build. Right. And that's what we end up happening. So it goes back to the business aspect, because that was the creative influencer aspect, but still the business. Right? The more orders that came in, the more I had to realize, dang, I really don't know how to do this customer support stuff. I really don't know how to do fulfillment at scale. So what I end up having to do, long story short, is I end up pausing the business. Okay. And then start looking in the back end and understand the process.
That took strength though.
Yeah, it took help. So I had a mentor. His name is Jason McGill. He was really big on tech. Got you. He was in Silicon Valley. He put me onto all these systems because that's what I needed. Yeah. So it looks like you need a system called Basecamp. He introduced me to Asana and Trello. Got you. This is around 2012. gave me all these tools. And I'm like, hey, I really like this stuff. This helps me organize.
Right.
Helps me put with project management. It helps me do it. So I went nose deep, dove into the tech systems and learning how all these things talk to each other. And because I have a background in design and web development, it started to make sense. So I came real techie.
Okay.
Real techie. That's where I got my admin skills from.
Got you.
Because I went away from the creative and now focused on the administrative.
Yeah, because like I said, I never have seen a creative that can be able to articulate themselves and their thoughts the way that you are. Like, documenting the process isn't a thing that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I sometimes can't even figure out how I thought about the thoughts that I have. Yeah. And the fact that you're able to articulate it in such an intricate and easily understandable way is like unheard of.
Yeah. By God's grace, that system he put me on allowed me to get my thoughts on there. And because I can now see my thoughts and visualize my thoughts, next time somebody asks me about it, my brain just pulls out that file and says, you already wrote about this. Go ahead and tell them what you already wrote.
That's crazy. No, I really feel like you got a mental file cabinet in your head.
That's how I feel.
Like
100% how I feel.
And pull it out.
Literally how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So thank God for Jason Miguel for putting me onto those things. And then naturally, the more organized you become, the less ghetto you become.
Yeah.
And then through my organization, people would start asking me, yo, how did you do it? How did you set up? And now I'm moving into the coaching aspect, the consultant aspect.
Okay.
And I can see, like, most people who are coming to me for web designs, I'm realizing that you don't just need a fancy website or a creative website or a good looking website. You actually need systems in place.
Yeah.
Right? So it went from designing to consulting on their actual whole business.
Because them influencers will swallow you whole.
Oh, my goodness.
You let them, they gonna have you doing everything, okay? So them influencers have you doing everything, right? So how did you start working and consulting with different influencers?
Okay, so Vegas, I moved from LA. We ended up getting the house in Vegas. And then I ended up becoming a gambling addict. Like, it got bad. Like, all that money that was coming in, but didn't know how to manage, I found a vice. And that vice, of course, you're in Vegas, was gambling. Right. And I had all this income. I was just spending on gambling. I'll be in there for hours, not even realize it. I'll go there in the morning and leave. It'll be the next morning.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad it got.
Oh, wow.
By God's grace, I had a meeting in Atlanta. Flew down to Atlanta, meet up with my boy, Philly. Had a meeting with 2 Chainz and his manager. Okay. And I was walking at Atlantic Station. I'm like, yo, people live up here? They're like, yeah. I've never seen so many black entrepreneurs in my life in one place. It was like a shock. Yeah. I'm in LA, very diverse. I'm in Vegas, diverse, right? But I was in a specific area in Atlanta. I'm like, yo, who are all these people?
What is happening here?
It was literally a culture shock. I said, yo, this is crazy. Yeah. So as a business consultant who helps business owners, it only made sense. Yeah. So I'm at Atlantic Station. I start looking for leasing arrangements at Atlantic Station. I ended up getting a condo at Atlantic Station. So now I'm in Atlantic Station. And Vegas was so toxic that I left everything that I owned in Vegas. To this day, it's still there. Whoever got it now, it's still there. Apartment, all that, everything. Yeah. It's still there. And me being in Atlanta now, specifically the entrepreneurs that I knew were thriving were black female entrepreneurs.
Facts.
Yo, hair salon. Yep. Hair, lashes, extensions, nails, the beauty space, black entrepreneurship. Women were killing it out here in Atlanta. Killing it, yep. So I'm seeing they have all these followers, they have all this income, they Shopify stores, but I know for a fact they didn't know the stuff that I learned over the years, just the back end. Yeah. So I started working with a few entrepreneurs. One of the main ones that I was working with when I first came to Atlanta was Ming Lee. She helped me a lot with being able to increase my craft on being somebody on the back end. Yeah. Because it's one thing helping business owners who don't make money and helping a business that's thriving, right? So I was able to do all the cool stuff that I wanted to do with a thriving business. Right. I can help optimize, right? And people who are making money, they usually are more open to new things, right? True. the people that I was working with at first that weren't making any money, it was very difficult for them to invest in things that I knew that was going to make them way more money.
You ain't had no money. That was a pro.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first one. Ming Lee. And then working with Ming Lee, that just opened up the doors to a lot of other entrepreneurs who wanted help, needed help with their brand, whether it be the design aspect, the marketing aspect. But what I would lead people with, people would start hearing about me because they saw our logo on her website, Snob Life website. So they'll come to us for design.
Okay. And
sometimes for marketing. But we'll let them know, like, look, in order for you to market, you need to be marketable.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
Not just on the front end, but also on the back end. Because like you said, you can bring in all this business, all this money, but it can break. It can kill you in the end.
It can kill you. You stressed out. Like, need a drink.
Golly. Out of there.
All kind of stuff. Nah, that's facts. Because it's like, and it's crazy because that was the same aha moment that I had when I moved to Atlanta. So I started my business at 19. I was at Southern Miss. I had this business. I come to Atlanta. I came from a Ladies Who Brunch conference with Dave Bella and them.
Dave Bella?
Yeah, Dave Bella, right? So listen, this 2017, at the 2016, 2017, I come to Atlanta and I'm like, oh, it's black people out here. Like, I'm in Mississippi. Like, I've never seen this many black people. And I was like, oh, y'all got businesses? Oh, y'all making money?
See?
Okay, so
y'all look good.
Yeah, y'all look good. It feel good. Like, it's cool, right? And so I was doing brand management. I was doing marketing. So I was like, it only makes sense for me to be able to come out here, get these businesses, help them market. And I graduated the next year from college. 2 weeks later, I moved to Atlanta. Like, I didn't know where I was going, nothing, but my stuff was in the car and I moved out here.
Easy.
Like, it was just like that aha moment of like, it's just it connects the dots. Do you feel like it's still the same in Atlanta?
First off, me and wifey, we live in Dubai right now. So,
okay, well, that's different.
So to bring some context,
international play,
the global citizen play.
You know.
So Atlanta, oh man, a lot of the stuff has now marinated. Like it's now been settled. Yeah. During the pandemic, like 2020, 21, there's a lot of hype around education, entrepreneurship. People had funds. Yeah. They had a little cash flow. Yeah. A little PPP, you know what I'm saying?
All the things. Yeah, a little one, two.
Right? So at that time, people had the resources, the energy, the mindset to want to collaborate and do things that'll help improve their personal development and business development.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, of course, everything that goes up
gotta come down.
It gotta come down and level off, right? Yeah. I'm not saying this in a negative, it's just not leveled off. Right? So right now, I think people need help with the emotional support. A lot of people were investing in education. In the information, but you don't get the transformation without the emotional support.
Bars.
Right? Because once you start the business, like, hold on, they didn't tell me about this part. Yeah. They didn't tell me about this part. Yeah. And things get real ghetto.
Yeah, right? Real ghetto.
Right, real ghetto.
Do you completely feel like your content is trash? Like, you really could take your brand to the next level if you could really figure out how to do marketing, how not to spend all your time online, how to really systemize your social media and get your followers off of social media and into your bank account? Well, listen, I want to give you a free 15-minute content audit with myself and my team. And so we can really dive into your social media page. We can really dive into what you're already doing with marketing, and we can see what gaps you already have. Now, listen, I want to show you how you can work with us and we can help you fill in these gaps, but you may get off the call and you may feel completely full and you may not need us. Completely fine with me. So what I want you to do is click the link below, book a call with us so we can see if we can work together this year or if you got everything that you need to go to the next level. Let's go. I think that's the thing. Like, people don't, because, okay, so you know I'm in the education space. I have a university, right? And so what I see is that I tell people all the time, we no longer just sell education, right? Like, you can get on AI, you can go figure, like,
ChatGPT got all,
You can figure it out if you want to, right?
Facts.
What I'm telling you is, one, you're gonna have community,
For
right?
sure.
Like, you're not gonna be able to do this. You don't have to do this by yourself.
sure.
You're gonna have accountability.
For sure.
Like, we even changed from just a membership model of like, you go in there, get the classes, come out, go in whenever. Of now, you got to sit down for 6 weeks and make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to really get the results, because you taking a long time and it don't take that much, right? And so,
pressure.
and you got to put pressure on people. And I think, like, we are in a space, one, that the real is rising, the cream of the crop is rising, right?
Amen.
Because it's education. I think during the pandemic, like you said, education was nice to have. It's something you can just put your iPhone up and put it out, tell them what you know. But now people started realizing, like, you got to deal with customers. You got to deal with people. People want real transformations. They said, this happened, now what I do. Like, you really got to coach people. That's different.
Amen. You gotta care.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a...
You gotta care. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, the cream of the crop rises to the top.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. I think that's what the stage where we're at right now, where to see who really, really cares about people.
Yeah.
When it comes to their development.
It's different. And you said also we sell access. And I think people don't even, like, until you know, like, you don't even know, like, I'm in a mastermind now, and mastermind is like trendy right now, right? But like, I got in a mastermind probably about 2 years ago, and I didn't even realize the fact that me being in that mastermind and me getting more access to that individual that had all of those results started to really help me when I was able to be like, hey, this happened in my business. It's getting ghetto out here. What should I do? And I don't think a lot of people even realize, like, how valuable just having somebody to talk to is.
Absolutely. So yeah, a lot of people, they start to realize how important it is, but they think that they have to have this person that's at the super top.
Facts.
To do it, right? There's actually peers who are somebody who's just one step ahead of you that you can reach out to, call for that help. But it requires humility. A lot of us are arrogant and say, yo, I don't need help. I can do this myself.
That's facts.
You can't. And you shouldn't want to, if you could.
And I think that's something I struggled with in the past, to be honest, right? Like, how don't I know this and I'm supposed to know this? Amen. You know what I'm saying?
That's like,
it's like,
that's how it be.
It be like, dang, I don't want to ask for help because I'm supposed to know how to do this. You know? So it's like, it's hard to take that out, because I got to think about, like, my mission is bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mission, my God-given purpose is to impact the world.
Amen.
And educate them and change the way that businesses are ran. So why would I let my ego stop me from getting the help that I need to change the world for other people?
Here's the bar. My mentor said, ego is etching God out.
Yeah.
When we etch God out, you think you can do it by yourself?
Ooh, that's good.
Then comes the L.
Yeah, the L, the fat L.
The big one.
Nah, that's facts. Like, it's a real thing.
Hey, man, yeah. I'm glad you're very transparent with that, because anybody who's been mentored and coached by you, I'm always looking for a coach, a mentor who has that transparency when it comes to, look, I may know a lot, but I don't know everything.
Nah, facts.
And I'm not afraid to call somebody on the line, get the information I need, so I can then implement it and then teach it to everybody else who needs it as well.
Yeah,
so
because I had to decide that you can't, like, it's impossible for you to pressure me to know everything. And I'm gonna tell you, like, listen, I don't know, but I'm gonna get you somebody that do know.
That's good, man. It feels so. It feels so freeing to be able to say, look, I don't know.
I don't know.
Some people are afraid to say that, especially at a certain level of status. I love being able to say that.
I don't know.
Because I have a security. I'm not insecure. I have security in the knowledge I do have. But the information I don't have, I don't know, but we're going to find somebody who's going to help us with that.
Because I want to know too now.
Amen. Amen.
Like, let's figure this out
We
together.
need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Right, we need.
It's we, not me.
That's facts. That's facts. So you work with the influencers. You was coming to Atlanta. You was working with the people, whatever. Yeah. What made you, like, switch? Like, was there any ghetto-ness a part of working with other people in the agency? And this is a rhetorical question because I know the answer, right?
So anybody in the service space understands that when you work with clients, you have to have a level of maturity, leadership skills, communication skills, right? Because it's one thing if you're really good at what you service, but you still have to know how to manage people at the same time. Right. Not just the people who work for you, but the people that you are working for.
Right.
And the people you're working for are your clients.
Right.
So I didn't have all the skills when it comes to communicating. I thought, well, I know how to do this, and you should just listen to anything I say so I can be able to get you what you need. But that's not how life works at all. Some clients need extra explanation. Yeah. Some clients need extra, all right? Extra. Yeah. And I didn't understand that at first. So a lot of the relationships that should have done, let's just put a monetary value, $1 million, probably only did 300,000, right?
Because where you were.
Correct.
That's good to know.
Correct. So during that process, I'm realizing, okay, I need to step my personal development skills up, my communication up. So I refrained from blame. Most people blame clients. I've seen a lot of people, especially designers and marketers for other people. I've seen a lot of them complain about their clients. Yeah. They're not going to post about it on the front end, but they'll talk about how much stress they're going through because of their clients. However, instead of me putting that energy on blaming them, I said, okay, what can I do? What am I missing that might be being a part of this problem that I'm having when it comes to working with some of these clients? And it required me to start reading more books. I don't like reading physical books. I like audio books. So I downloaded Audible. I started reading books. One of the books that was a game changer was a book called Traction.
I love Traction.
Yeah, by Gino Wickman. Yeah. And Rocket Fuel as well. So those books, it helped me structure, okay, if I want to run an organization, I got to be organized, but there's a organizational chart that I could use to better communicate things. So sometimes I don't have to be the one communicating it. Somebody else in my company should be the one communicating it.
Absolutely.
Right? But because I was a solopreneur, I was doing everything. Yep. Right? I wanted to be the good cop, but sometimes I have to be the bad cop too. But if I had a team member become the bad cop, I would have been able to be in my space that I like being in, which is the good cop. That's my personality. I'm very altruistic. I love loving people. I love to be loved as well. I'm very, I like to be unbiased because I don't like being on somebody's, have a negative viewpoint. I don't want nobody to have a negative viewpoint about me. That's just how I am. All right. Of course, it's natural for some people to not always agree with you, but I like to be in the side of, I love Matty.
Like me.
I like to be liked. I love to be loved. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so that was part of that process that I had to go through was the personal development. So all these different books that were recommended to me was a game changer. Another book that was a game changer for me was a book called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And another book, of course, especially in the education space, was Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. Yeah. So I really stepped my coaching game up. So I moved away from being a service provider who actually did the work to be the one that I realized my real skill was creating the blueprint.
For the work.
Yeah, the strategy.
That's the real, first of all, that's a real realization. Like, how old were you at that time?
This was in 2000. I was born in 1990, so this was in 2017. So I was 27.
Okay. So, because I'm thinking about because that was my story too, right? I get to Atlanta, I start working with these influencers, and in my mind, I'm like, why you not just listening to me? Like, I know, like, why you just won't, like, you hire me, you not even paying me for real, for real.
Wait. Let that one sizzle. You're not paying me what I really need to be paid for.
Come on now.
A lot of people don't realize that frustration.
They don't. Everybody want to be a celebrity, ...
That's crazy.
You're not even paying me what I for real am worth. Like, at this time, I'm getting $200 a week. My rent a bank. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool. You brought me in. We clearly see you have a problem. Why aren't you listening to me? And it got to the point where I was frustrated. But it was so funny because I was going back and I was preparing a case study for a client. And I was going back reading some of the old text messages from one of my clients. And every day I'm seeing, girl, wake up. Girl, we got to call. Girl, we got to do this. And I'm like, this is why I hated them niggas, right? Like, it was just so much. But I love, like, the experience experience was phenomenal, right? Because I brought it into my business. I was able to learn more, right? But the reason why I transitioned from agency to making myself the celebrity, because I don't even feel like I'm a celebrity, but like myself the influencer is because I knew I would get up and work. Like, I knew that you wasn't gonna have to blow me up. You wasn't gonna have to beg me to work. You wasn't gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was gonna work.
Amen.
And I don't think that a lot of people even realize, like, but it, like, in the service-based industry, you gotta kind of just be a servant. Like, you gotta serve. But I think everybody need a season of serving.
For sure. I mean, you can't, literally, the word servant and service, they're in the same word. You got to provide a service, and in order to be a provide a service, you have to serve.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
So, trust me, I wish a lot of people understood that you're not alone when you're a service provider, especially in the digital space, marketing, design, whatever the case may be. If you're helping other business owners, we understand your plight.
No, facts. But you just got to go through, because now I'm on the other side.
That too. So being on both sides, you get to say, oh, so that's why influencers act like this.
Yeah.
So you get to see the creative and administrative.
Exactly. And so now I'm on the other side. And even when I work and bring in agencies or client, like people to work with me, and I'm like, listen, this is how I work. I need you to communicate with me daily. I need you to provide me updates, because if you let me, and I think this is a thing that I had to realize as a CEO, the reason why I would go so crazy on people and I would just like feel like they're not doing nothing because they ain't tell me anything. And so the way that my mind works is that if I have no updates and you don't tell me what's going on, I think you're not doing anything.
Out of sight, out of mind. Makes sense.
Out of sight, out of mind. So every day, or at least put something in Slack or put it in ClickUp just so I know what's going on. And then I have no excuses.
Makes sense. Fair.
You know, it's different.
Fair. So yeah, that realization for me, I have to understand how I like to be communicated with. That's all self-development too.
Yes.
So I can tell other people this is how I know we can be sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You know
I think that's good. I think that a lot of people don't even realize that we are a direct reflection of what happens in our business. And if we aren't whole personally,
Facts.
then in the business, it's just gonna be a whole lot of gaps.
Facts.
So we got this segment on the show called Figure It Out, okay?
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out. All right, so let's get this scenario, and we're gonna see what you say. How, if this was your business, how would you deal with it? All right, let's see what we got. Okay, so you just talked to your attorney and found out your best friend trademarked your name.
Dang.
What's next?
Cold part about this is I ran into a similar situation in real life, though. They didn't trademark it. They bought a domain name, right?
What you do?
All right, so first things first. I'm going to tell you what I did and what I was supposed to do. Let's start off with what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
So what I would do today is I would first call a mentor.
Okay.
Somebody I trust.
Yes.
Hopefully the person I trust also knows that person as well.
Okay.
All right. So I can get perspective. Right. In my mind, I feel like I'm wrong, whatever it may be, but let's get another perspective. So I call a mentor and I ask, okay, this is the situation. One of my friends trademarked, what was it, a business name? A business name. It wasn't for me. He did it for himself. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think I should do? 9 times out of 10, that mentor is going to give me a list of questions
Afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. For myself and for them. So instead of most people would question their friend, but they're not looking for no answers, right? I like to ask questions and really get an answer, right? And once I get those answers, I'll ask for clarification on why those answers are what they were, right? Because sometimes it can just be miscommunication. Right? Sometimes you realize that this person is really just
shady.
Or really shady. I need to identify that. So most people, they assume that person's shady off rip.
Okay. Facts.
I don't want to assume.
I want hard facts.
I want the facts. I want the data.
Okay. Yeah,
that's how I am. I want the data.
Yes.
Right? And then if they did do it because they're shady, I still want to know why, what influenced them to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for ways to be compassionate. Because this is my friend. This is not some random stranger, right? If this person is really my friend, there has to be some type of reason, justified or not, on why they did it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look for those. I'm trying to look for the root problem.
Okay.
Because them buying or trademarking the name isn't the root problem.
Right.
It's a problem. I'm identifying the root problem so I can get around it.
Okay,
right?
Facts.
So that's my process with most things, actually.
Okay. So what would City Boy Matty do?
The ghetto MattyJ. Yo, I'm going to tell you what I did, bro. I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't going to name no names. I ain't going to name... So, all right. So I'm going to keep this short. I'm having a conversation on the phone. Right? We're just talking, kicking. There's about 4 of us entrepreneurs. I say something, like one of my lines. I say something that rhymes. Scars into bars. Pains in the game. I say something. All right? I say this line. He said, "Oh, man, that's a good name, man. I'm about to go buy the domain name right now." I'm thinking he's going to buy the domain. Like a saying that I always say. Yeah. Right? Say that everybody always heard me say. He's like, "Man, that's a good name. I'm about to buy the domain name right now."
And Kiki.
I'm thinking he's going to buy the domain name for me to lock it in or something. That's what I'm thinking. A whole year passed by. Like, hey, bro, I'm about to do something with that phrase. Send over the domain name. This man trying to charge me for it. Crazy.
What? And this was supposed to be like a friend.
Yes. And I realized at this moment that even if you're friends, some people just don't agree with you. Like he doesn't see nothing wrong with it. Zero wrong with it. Right? And I know him enough to respect his opinion.
Decision, right.
Respect his decision. Yeah. Right? And I love him enough to let it go. Right?
What's your sign, Matty?
I don't believe it's I'm Aquarius. I was born February.
Okay, but this makes sense, right? Because I'm a Taurus. Okay. And I would have turned up. Like, it just... and the reason I'm like, you just very calm and compassionate and everything is just
I gotta keep my peace. I gotta keep my peace. Man. At one point, it's not about them. It's about my peace, too.
But I like the way that you look at that, right? Because the immediate thing, just like you said before... The immediate thought process is you trying to play me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to play me, and I want the smoke.
Yo, the thing is, I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want none. You know what I'm saying?
That is hilarious.
So what ended up happening was, I said, "All right, man. If that's how you move, say less." I'm gonna buy a domain name that I know.
Oh, so you petty.
That was a city boy. I told you, don't do this. I ended up buying a domain name. I'm trying to say this without anybody putting 2 to 2 together. All right, so, man, say this person comes up, this is a fake story, because I don't want to reveal the situation. Yeah. Say he comes up with he buys a new building. Yeah. Right? He has a name for this building. Mm-hmm. He starts promoting it, but he didn't buy the domain name for that in that situation. Yeah. I bought the domain name before he had it. And I said, "Hey, yo, I got a domain name to sell you."
If you laying back in the trenches,
listen, if you think this is fair, I'm running a playback for you.
Nah, facts. I want you to see how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Brother.
You know what I'm saying? But what I should have did, this is what I should have did, man. I should have just got it for him and look, this is what you should have done versus this is how you should feel.
That's a big, you a bigger person.
I didn't do it though, but that's how I should have
happened, right? Yes.
That speaks way more value than being petty back. Yeah. Says, dang, he really stands on that belief, and even though I don't agree, I'm gonna consider his feelings next time more. Yeah. Because we're friends. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Like it definitely. You gotta change the mindset, your perspective of stuff. Because like I said, I'm like, city boys up 1. Like,
yo, that's funny as hell.
Petty, you know. But no, that makes sense. So, and I think that as a business owner and as a CEO, that sometimes we have to get outside of our own emotions. Man. And so many times I would let my own emotions stop me from getting to certain points, right? So we have to get outside of our own emotions to really get to where we're really meant to go.
For sure. It's not easy. It's easier said than done, for sure.
You have mastered it.
But by God's grace, I had a lot of practice. Yeah. I still ain't mastered it yet because those selling plays is not just for business. It's for your relationships. Yeah. Whether it's platonic, romantic, with children, you got to run that play throughout your life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So awareness was the first step, and admitting that you need help with it.
I love that. So before we go, Matty, tell the streets what they should be aware of as they are going into this entrepreneur journey. How can they know it's gonna be ghetto, we know it's gonna be struggles, we know it's gonna be challenges, but how do they just, be like, it's God's grace?
Yes, that is my, all right, this is my play on this one. So I believe that everybody in this world needs to DTP. They need to document their process. All right, so if everybody in this world took a week, 2 weeks maybe, to document everything that happened in their life, year by year, like I did. Born in 1990, it's 2023, so I have 33 lines. So for each year, I've documented some of the most impactful things that happened in my life. The good, the indifferent. I don't consider anything bad, right? Whether it was a change of environment, whether it was a change of income, whether it's new business, marriage, whatever it is, anything that impactful that happened in my life, I documented it.
Okay.
And after I filled out that exercise, I was able to reflect on how blessed I was, right? And all my jobs that I ever had was part of that list on my work history. So I was able to reflect like, wow, I developed a lot of skills and values throughout my life. Yeah. And that immediately boosted my confidence level, right? And when your confidence is up, your posture's up, your energy's up, you're smiling, joyful. Yeah. And when you walk into the real world, they feel that energy. Yeah. So when you say something, they don't just hear you anymore, they feel you. You'll hear way more people say, yo, I feel you.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So once I had more people saying, yo, I feel you, I had the opportunity to create more impact. And how do I specifically create impact? Is by sharing my experiences. Everybody in this world is living a movie. Most people aren't documenting what's happening in their movie and sharing it with others. Right. And that was one of the biggest things that changed my life is sharing stories. So I don't just teach, I actually share stories. So everything you just asked me, I have a story attached to it. Yeah. Right? And in those stories, there's gems that can be learned. There's realizations that can be received. And I think that's what creates the most impact. And when it comes to impact, the more income.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like DTP.
The play.
Document the process. Document the play. Document the play.
Somebody better get the domain.
They want to get the domain right now. Somebody, hey, you want to run that play?
Yo, this is amazing, Manny. I had so much fun. Listen, I hope you guys keep tuning in to the Ghetto CEO podcast. Somebody get it right quick, okay? Listen, if y'all enjoyed this episode, please let us know in the comments. Blow us up. Follow CEO MattyJ so you can document the play and the process, okay?
See, that's why I love y'all, man.
Yes!
The entrepreneurship world, they put you on to the...
You know what I'm saying? All right, so we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Yeah.